I feel that BG5 has helped me come to understand and know myself better than anything I've found in my journey in life. And I've been searching my entire life. So to find a system that shows the depth of who each of us really is and gives us a map to follow to discover ourselves and to help other people discover themselves, that's what really excites me about it. Knowing who I really am and then being able to help others see themselves has been really just amazing.
It brings out my body intelligence and removes me out of the energy or the mental conditioning and the mental anxieties and the mental behaviors that are indoctrinated into the way of thinking, and allowing the body to do what the body is supposed to do, to guide us through life. For me, it's a combination of body, mind, and soul. And the body knows where the soul and the mind wants to go. And that is revealed by BG5.
For me, it's about the awareness, and it's being able to see yourself, which we're not good at seeing ourselves at all. We see what everybody else thinks we are, but have the ability to really gain insight, this objective perspective of who we are and how we operate in the world. And for myself and, for the people I've shared it with, seeing the amount of awareness and acceptance it creates, I've never had a system be able to create that level of both understanding and awareness and acceptance. It just feels so much deeper and more profound and more precise than anything else I've used.
I love BG5 because I think it really reveals the soul of somebody in a way that's concrete and useful.
It really is a blueprint. And having that blueprint, I spent most of my life trying to fix myself because I thought that there was something wrong with me. And this is the first system that I realized that there's nothing wrong. There's nothing that needs to be fixed. And I'm perfect exactly the way I am. And it's being able to take advantage of exactly the way I am and not having to be who I think I should be or have to be. That's what I love about it.
It's very easy because it is the individual strength that can be brought out. And if I would have had in my previous leadership and management positions the information that I have today with looking at a BG5 chart, it would have helped me to deal with the people in a better way, in the way of really peeling out and revealing their strength and utilizing their strength. The communication, the way of dealing with each other, the interaction, the way of allocating work and tasks would have been way, way easier. So this is for me the beauty and greatness of this system, really to see the other person with an access that is nowhere visible. It's a map to another person. That's what it is. That helps leaders in any shape or form to deal with their people better, to have a better engagement, a more respectful engagement, a more strength-based, a more human-centric engagement. This is what it is.
The main thing is to know themselves and be vulnerable in front of their team in a way that it allows their team also to be themselves. But with this system, it takes away the necessity to operate on ego or on I have to be something or someone in front of them or on top, or to have control. But the control is not so much coming from ego. So walk your talk and be the example, right? Instead of do as I say and not as I do.
I think for leaders, whether they have a concrete understanding of the design of their team members or not, just understanding themselves and seeing how it opens the door to how different everyone can be. So I think that the system opens the door, lends a lot of perspective to be able to consider, even have the question in your mind of, oh, I wonder how they're different, or I wonder if this is how they operate, or I wonder if this is the natural way for them. So a lot of leadership that I dealt with, in the corporate world or in schools and in all of our institutions, is that there's one right, correct way to do things. And there's not. There's millions of correct ways depending on who you are and what that roadmap says about you. And so I think it, at the bare minimum, introduces that idea to leaders to understand I should at least be asking the question, how could they possibly be different, so that the leaders can see the opportunities and the challenges and everything through the eyes of their team members.
Leaders often have quite a struggle to get to that leadership role. We all have leadership qualities within us, and depending on the situations we're in, they get drawn out of us. And some leaders may not even be aware of the type of leader they are. So this system is something that shows you exactly where your leadership qualities and traits and strengths come from, so that you can have a bit more insight into how you impact others in the workplace. And not only that, but understanding how your own conditioning and the fears and shadows you carry, and maybe the path you've carved for yourself in your life that has maybe limited your thinking about things. This system allows you to see all of that and have a map to kind of allow yourself to let go of the things that may be negatively impacting the team you're leading, and to allow yourself to really drop in and align with your full power as a leader. And once you're aligned, once the leader is aligned into their own full power, that trickles through the entire organization. I think that until you drop into your power as a leader, you actually can't even see what the potential of all your people also is. Because once you get it for yourself, then you want to know, well, what's their potential and what's their potential, and how can I lead them all together in a way that helps us all move forward as one organization.
I find that BG5 and leadership, many times there are a lot of non-traditional leaders out there. They're not running corporations. Maybe they're running a small business. Maybe they're a family business. Or, maybe they're in a faith-based business. They're not necessarily in an enterprising kind of business. And I think that when you have those types of non-traditional leaders, so many times they want to provide something, but they're blind to their own gifts as a leader. And so I think the beauty of BG5 with leaders is that it allows them to see their leadership style and to be okay with that unique style, and to really understand how their leadership is different from the status quo or what everybody else in the mainstream is communicating should be a leader. There are gradations of leaders. There's not just one perfect kind of leader. And I think that when you are clear about that, you really can gain leverage in an organization within the limitations of that structure, however that's defined. And for me, when people can see their leadership come alive within those limitations, and with the group and their team and their client base, whoever that might be, there's a synergy that happens, and things just run so much better for them.
I think there is this image that leaders have to be a particular way or fit into a particular mold. And I think what's brilliant about this system is that you can see how you are specifically designed to lead, and that not all leaders are the same. And when you can naturally fit into the role and do what comes naturally, it also affects the entire team. The tensions start at the top, and if leadership is not aligned, it can affect the entire organization. When the leaders are aligned, and specifically when an individual leader is aligned with their natural gifts, talents, and how they're designed to lead, they can also bring out the gifts and talents of everyone else within the organization, so that everyone can step into their own leadership position as well.
Information can be used in many, many different ways. For me, it's the complete so-called employee life cycle, from like the hiring down to the different position the person has in the company, the different personal development trainings the person might be able to do, and promotions and leadership and being a manager or running then the company or whatever. This all can be seen. It's what I've observed in the large corporations. It's typically the Peter principle. So people get promoted into positions where they don't have capacity anymore, and then they are getting frustrated, they're getting angry, and things like that. And they are kind of overwhelmed with the situations, and it's a kind of a dead-end street and a vicious cycle. Now, from my perspective, this can be prevented as well with using BG5, because one could discover the leadership skills a person has intrinsically without that they have to be trained. So it's rather, instead of a grown up or learned leader, it's really an intrinsic, natural leader that could be put into a position where he would or she would lead people and manage people. And yeah, recruiting, finding the best fit into a team, seeing the team dynamics, how a team does work together, how people in teams thrive together, what are like the obstacles in the team. And revealing that is giving you options, how to deal with the situation, how a different way of communicating with each other, how to deal with each other, how the different career types could better operate with each other. What are the different tasks that these people would be best to do? What is the best work environment for them? There's so much facets in this information that could be leveraged in any kind of size of organization, from a small team until a larger team, big groups, large corporates. It's a new information that would just reveal the human individual. And the more I know about the human individual, the best I can use the human individual. So it's the best for the human individual, plus for the team, plus for the company, because that is really a 100% fit then. That is what I would use it for, and that is what I see as potential, and definitely as how it can be used.
So one of my favorite ways to use BG5 is for a small organization, whether that's a entrepreneur operating on their own or small business, where so much of the success of the business comes down to the design of the person who started it. And I love, because this is something I always felt challenged with, and I always felt like I was just making it up. I love how you can look at someone's design and find marketing information, find out who their ideal clients are, why they choose to work with that person, what it is that drives them to serve in the way that they serve, how they're meant to serve people, what problems their people are going to present with, and how they can potentially solve those problems, and whether it's great to work one-on-one or maybe in groups. And so there's such rich information that takes the guesswork out of creating success, whether that's the success at an individual level or success for a small business or success for a large business. We're all designed to have our own way of being successful. And I love that comes through in the design. That is, like I said, my favorite part and my favorite way to use it.
What I love is that an organization, what it can bring an organization is to enhance the communication and the collaboration and the motivation of everybody. And as we say, for a person, and most people are now kind of looking like more and more to personal development, the human in the center, and shine your own light and be the best version of yourself. This exponentially also is true for organizations. So in group operation, it is also all about everybody being aligned with the mission and vision, and being able to then use their true talent for the benefit of the whole organization. How you can see how the owner is really, what they attract, etc. This is also the base of the why we all want to work for a certain company. That is the heart of the organization, but having everybody align with that, and then shine your light as a business, through which you attract the right employees to work with you, the correct customers that love your product, your suppliers and vendors aligned, etc. You are actually able not only to have all of your employees become the best version of themselves, but then also become the best version of your business, and that being your competitive advantage. Because you're just, you're doing it from the heart, and then a business has a heart as well, right? So yeah, that's just awesome.
What BG5 really allows for is to help the individual person in a career who's maybe struggling, feeling unseen, unheard, knows and can feel what their own talent is, but they're not being allowed to express it in the current role they've been put into, that really limits their ability. And that can often be a mind-based role that's been created based on what the business leaders are, if they're only using their mind to scan the landscape and try to be ahead of the game and just using their mind to strategize, they're missing a whole huge piece of the puzzle. And so BG5 gives us a really amazing lens to look at all of that through, because our minds can be conditioned and ignore our bodies. And so bringing that awareness to people that our body intelligence is there to actually help us make decisions, and that better decisions are made through that. If you start allowing each individual in your organization to tap into their own body intelligence and you tap into where their strengths are, and you help them clear away the conditioning of all the shoulds they think they're supposed to be doing, you've now created a really vibrant organization where every person in that organization, if they connect with your why, they're drawn to you for a reason, allow them to fully express themselves as the entire individual they are, and you're going to have skyrocketing productivity, which only leads to everything people are looking for: thriving, not just surviving, but how do we thrive together as a whole? And that's the opportunity that groups, teams, organizations, no matter what size they are, have when they can apply the BG5 tools and principles, so that each person can understand who they are and fully express themselves.
When I think about how BG5 can be used in organizations, the first thing I think about is that there is growth potential in organizations and a need for communication. And I think part of that is that at the most fundamental level, the communication that we tell ourselves in our own brains can be off from who we really are if we don't really know our own design. But we can also really create dysfunction in an organization through partnerships. And so if a partnership is not communicating effectively between two people, it can throw off employees, it can throw off the boss and the employer, it can throw off business partners, and it ultimately can result in dysfunctional business overall. And part of that is that, when you're thinking about communication and growth through partnership, there's some hard truths that need to be brought up sometimes, and partnership analysis is a really great way to do that. But at a greater level, that is the foundation for any sort of growth in an organization, like strategic planning or business model redesign, any type of reinvention, because business requires us to reinvent, requires us at a fundamental level to tell the truth, address the dysfunction, and bring partnerships into alignment so that the work can get done and that productivity can move forward. So for me in organizations, I really feel super strong that the interpersonal interactions and the clarity of what's needed is at the fundamental core of what creates a vibrant, healthy, and an organization that can reinvent itself and stay current with the modern times.
I love that the system can work with everyone from solopreneurs to partnerships, to large groups, to small groups, to entrepreneurs, to large corporations. And so the flexibility and the ability to really address both the individual and the group dynamics is something that I haven't seen in any other system. And it's part of what I really love about it.
It's the only system in the world that truly can describe you to the teeth or the tooth. What is it? Or to the T. That's it.
Right down to the teeth.
Yeah, there's no other system like it.